The Marvels has pretty much everything going against it, but despite that, it's doing better than projected and is winning the hearts of many fans, new and old. But Joe, the box office numbers aren't even close to where they need to be for an opening weekend. One, while that is true, it's only been one weekend so far, and they've had a lot of other factors going up against it, but that doesn't paint the whole picture, and I'm gonna talk about why I think the Marvels is going to give the boost that the MCU needs. I am obviously going to be talking about the movie, so just be aware that there are spoilers ahead. First, let's just go ahead and talk about the movie itself and what I thought was good and what was not so good. Obviously, this is very subjective, but in my opinion, The Marvels is a top 10 MCU film. The movie was fun and energetic, funny at all the right places, had really good pacing, although I'll talk about how I wish it had maybe like 10 or 15 more minutes, had some of the best kick-ass action sequences that I've seen in a Marvel movie in a long time, and there's just some really good nerdy comic book stuff. It reminds me of the classic MCU, but what wasn't classic MCU is that this is a superhero film led by women. All three heroes are women. The villain is a woman, and 3 out of those 4 women that I just talked about are all people of color. Not to mention, the director is also a black female, the first for any Marvel movie, and that in and of itself is a huge triumph and a win. So my biggest bright spot in this film, minus the Flurkins and the Flurkittens, is the chemistry between Carol, Monica, and Kamala. You can tell that they have great chemistry and that they really enjoyed playing each of these roles and working together. You've probably already heard this and it's probably been said enough, but Kamala is literally the brightest spot in this entire film. Her charisma and her energy is just bar none the best, and I think is huge for moving forward in the MCU. I think mainly because she is a comic book fan in real life. How can you not feel connected to her as a character? And even though this is a female-led superhero movie, there is no girl power narrative whatsoever. Each of the characters shine through their own individual powers and strengths, and then them having to work together to defeat the villain, which is probably the weakest spot in the entire movie. No, it's not because of the gender swap for all you haters worried about a 2 comic book appearance gender swap. Honestly, the villain, Dar-Benn, didn't have enough time to tell her backstory. While I understood why she was doing what she was doing and why she had so much animosity towards Carol, you couldn't really feel for her animosity. All of the backstory between her and Carol and that animosity was told in a retrospective kind of way, and there was nothing really that happened in between. And we're gonna sandwich this with the last great part of this whole movie is the end scene as well as the mid-credit scene. The end scene of this film has an homage to the first Iron Man when Nick Fury shows up and recruits Tony Stark for the Avengers Initiative. Here we see Kamala Khan recruiting Kate Bishop, and the last we saw of her was in Hawkeye for what is anticipated to be the Young Avengers. One, this is something that I think a lot of MCU and Marvel fans have been waiting for, and they've been pretty much teasing it through various projects up until now, and it seems like it's going to happen. And then I think for the biggest implication of all is the mid-credit scene where we see Monica stuck in what looks like some sort of hospital setting, and she happens to be in now the X-Men or the Foxverse reality where we see Beast, and then we also see her mother, Maria Rambeau, as binary. So why will this movie give the MCU the boost that it needs? First and foremost, I will be the first person to say that I don't think the MCU needs saving or really needs a boost, but that's the current narrative that's out there on the street, is that Marvel is dying and no one knows what the heck they're doing at the MCU. And so everything's just falling apart. I think everyone's been wanting some connectivity to previous projects in Phase 4 and Phase 5. We just connected to WandaVision, we just connected to Ms. Marvel. We now have connection to the X-Men universe, which is what everyone has been waiting and wanting. Now we're getting a bigger and broader view of how the multiverse works. And in conjunction with Loki, with all of this, there are huge implications moving forward and setting things up for Avengers Secret Wars as well as Kang Dynasty. And let's circle back to the fact that this is a female-led superhero movie, the first really of its kind, with 3 of the 4 main characters being people of color, and it was directed by a young black female. Again, the first of its kind in Marvel's history. I'm gonna be a little bit biased here because I'm the father of a young girl. I think this is more of what we need. I want to have my daughter to be able to see, as well as other girls of various different races, creeds, colors and all that stuff, that they can also be a hero on a big screen. Where else do they get a lot of that? Not many places. I think this is the biggest triumph for this movie, and the boost that it will give the MCU is that it will hopefully invigorate new fans into the MCU, into seeing someone like themselves on screen and being the hero that they never thought that they could be. I want my daughter and other young girls to get into the MCU, to get into Marvel. Heck, maybe even go into a comic book shop, buy comics, and see themselves in this entire universe that Marvel has created. If anything, they might realize that they could be a part of this entire Marvel universe one day, where you can act in your own show, in a movie, and even co-write a comic book just like Iman Vellani has. Oh, you didn't know that Iman Vellani was basically Kamala Khan in real life? Learn more about her backstory and how she became Miss Marvel with this video.